Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the all-new Audi SQ5. Huge shout out to Audi Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This SQ5 is finished off in Tambora Gray Metallic with the Premium Plus package and all-weather package. MSRP is just over $73,000. Now this is powered by the 3-liter turbocharged V6. It's paired to a 7-speed automatic transmission, pumps out 362 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the Quattro all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,500-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. It has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18.5 gallons. You'll expect to see 19 miles per gallon in the city and 24 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 111 inches. Its overall length is 184.4. It has a width of 74.5, a height of 65.5, and its ground clearance measures in just over 8 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling for this latest model, you'll notice there's a new design for the Audi badge, which has a really nice look. There's a forward-facing camera for this model, the red S badge on that passenger side, and then some really nice brushed accents throughout the grille, where there's also some cutouts, and then you'll notice the brush surround for the hexagonal design. Now this also has LEDs for all of the lighting with that sequential turn signal design. There's more brushed accents on the side trim accents, along with a sensor in the lower section for the distance pacing and all of that tech. And then you'll notice the parking sensors and even more cutouts just to provide some better cooling. There's also some really nice lines that come down the hood. And then as we work our way to the side, this has a nice design for these two-tone wheels, along with having the red S-line brake calipers there. You'll notice body-colored fender arches, along with some more brushed accents, both in the lower section, as well as on the power folding side mirrors, which have a camera and a turn signal. There's some chrome accents for the window trim. You'll notice it's on the roof racks, and then there's a full moonroof up top as well. And as we take a step back, there's some nice subtle lines in the lower section of the door, and then at the height of the door handles, along with this rear fender arch leading our way to the back, where this has a body-colored spoiler. There's also the third brake light, wiper blade in the lower section, the new badge on the back, of course. There's a backup camera, all the parking sensors, the quad-tip dual exhaust, and then with the hitch package, this can tow right around 4,400 pounds. You'll notice there are some more brushed accents in the lower section too, which is really nice to see. Now you can use the button on the key fob or the control underneath to open up the power liftgate, where as you can tell, there's a large box in the back at the moment. For its smaller size, you still have a lot of practicality. This also has an adaptive suspension, so you can actually raise and lower the rear end of this vehicle if you need a lower load height. That is very beneficial. You can also fold the back seats down by pulling on these tabs, so that makes it much easier, of course. And there's also this cover here. There's also some hooks too. And then underneath the floor, you can lift this up, where you'll notice there's a good bit of space, so you can hide some items underneath as needed. And then up top you have two buttons to either close that liftgate or you can lock the vehicle as well. Now if you do lock the vehicle, just grab any door handle, because it has proximity door handles in all four corners. Now with the Premium Plus and the all-weather package, you do get the manually adjusting sunshades. You'll notice all the Alcantara as well. There's a release up top, Bang & Olufsen for the audio, and then you have a little bit of storage down below. And then this also gets the nappa leather interior, which has some really nice stitching to it. Now you can also use this control down below to fold these seats down and fold them flat. As you can tell, that passenger one is all the way down, so you can use that as a release from here. And then as we hop in at 5'10", I have a good bit of space. You'll notice there's some storage nets, there's auxiliaries, along with vents. You have temperature adjustments. You can also slide these seats forwards and backwards. So if you need more leg space or more cargo room, you can adjust as needed. And at my height, I have about 1.5 inches or 2 of headroom, and you can recline these slightly back. So it does make it a little bit more comfortable. For this smaller size, it's really nice to be in the back. Now there's also the armrest and cup holders, and you can also fold this middle seat down individually if you would like to. And then you'll notice very large cargo windows, so you can easily see around this pillar in the back. And then up front, you'll notice this panel here has a lot of controls. There's lock, or the child locks. You have memory seating adjustments, your side mirror controls, so you can adjust those and fold them in and out. And then you have headlight adjustments, lock and unlock, and then window controls and the trunk release. And then there's also storage down below and all of the Alcantara. But a really nice design to see that panel there. And then of course there's the nappa leather front seats with the S badge right there, and they are massaging. So you have that control down below along with the rest of the adjustments. And this also has all-weather floor mats, which is nice to see. Now let's start this up and take a listen to how it sounds. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster now, you'll notice there's a lot of information within the lower section, and you can go through more info by using the controls on this left side. So you have some arrows here along with the view button. So if I just start pushing up or down, you'll notice on that right side, we can pull up the navigation, and then we can slide to the left or the right to further get through some more of this info. If I push on view, now you can pull up some information on the left side and the right side, and then you can determine what you would like to go through on both sides. So now you have all that information to look at. If you click on view again, it will hide that away on both sides, and then you can bring it back up. Now the other control is for the head-up display, so you can actually pull up quite a lot. Hopefully you can see there's miles per hour along with the speed limit sign, and then we can pull up the media player, look at the navigation and driver assistance, and then you have a minimal display here. You can look at your acceleration display, or you can just have nothing being shown, and then you can get back into your music. So pretty nice and easy to go through that. You'll notice on the right side, there's the heated steering wheel, volume and tuning, along with a favorites button. So you can set that up to what you use the most. There's also voice commands and Bluetooth. There's paddle shifters on both sides, and then the cruise control stalk on that lower left. Now with the steering wheel too, it has a flat top and bottom design to it with solid and perforated leather. Now on this left side, there's a little bit of storage down below. There's also one air vent. There's leather for the dash. And then with the infotainment system, you have quite a lot to go through. So on this left side, all of this is going to be fixed. So you can easily get home where you have this split view. You can also swipe over and go through all of the voice command features there. You can push on the 4 squares to bring up all these apps, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have quite a lot that you can look at. You can also pull up the map in full screen, pair your phone, of course. You have various settings that you can get into and monitor. You can also get into the car settings here, where you have a lot that you can look through. So you have all of this depending on how you would like to change it. You have different service intervals. There's also the massaging seats, so you can get into all of this. You have your interior and exterior lighting, and then displays that you can go into. So you can look at the virtual cockpit, get into the brightness for that, as well as the infotainment and the head-up display. You'll notice too, there's some profiles over on this left side you can set up. You have a mute icon, and then the entire lower section is fixed. So this is for all of your climates, as well as your heated and ventilated seats. So you can quickly get through all this information in that lower section. Now there's also air vents underneath that, and then there's a physical button for volume. There's also traction control, hazards, engine start stop, and a shortcut to the driving modes. So you can go through these as needed. There's also the engine start stop, and then wireless charging along with some auxiliaries. There's 2 cup holders, and then you do have a shortcut to some of your favorites here, so you can pull up this information and go through all of these as needed. So you have quite a lot here that you can turn on and off depending on how you would like the vehicle to react. There's also a shortcut to the camera system. The e-brake is also park, and then when you bump this forwards, that is actually for reverse. So you can bring up the camera system here, and you have different angles that you can click on and pinpoint depending on what you need to see. Now this also has parallel parking, so you can search for a space in order to activate that, and then you have drive and sport mode. Now behind that, you have the armrest with plenty of storage. There's a little bit in front of it there. And then you also have this ambient lighting strip that wraps around this brushed accent. Now on the passenger side, this particular model does not have the passenger screen option, so that is just gloss black there. You have a lot of space in the glove box, and then there's garage door buttons up top, dome lights, and controls for the sunshade. And then here's a look at visibility, where it's pretty easy to see. You have quite a lot of glass in both directions. As we set up behind the wheel now for the latest SQ5, this is the second one I've been able to take a look at. This one is a little bit more optioned out with the nappa seats and a few other options, which make it a really nice spec. Now, one thing I want to address before we start talking about what it's like to drive this is a lot of the comments I've seen on our latest Audi review videos and the direction that Audi is going. Honestly, I think this is a really nice update and redesign. I know everyone's not a huge fan of the large screens, but in this specific model, this screen is really not all that large. I think it's integrated very nicely into the dash, and while there's not a lot of physical buttons, including all the climates, which are fixed in the lower section of the screen, I think it is nice the minimal amount of controls that there are down below. I know a lot of people do like the physical controls, and while it's fixed on the screen there, it's pretty easy to go through. So it is nice that you don't have to hunt for them, just like BMW has done. You have that bar in the lower section. Everything else though I think is really nice. There's nothing cheap about this from the comments that I have seen. I will agree, this giant panel over here, if you don't have the screen, is a little bit odd, but other than that, this is a very nice vehicle. I think for the price, you're getting a very luxury focused and well-refined vehicle. So with that out of the way, I have been driving this in the balanced setting. So with the adaptive suspension, we're basically kind of right in the middle. If I put it into dynamic, the vehicle is actually going to lower. So that's going to stiffen up the suspension just a little bit. The exhaust will get louder, as you heard earlier, and this is going to make it a little bit more performance oriented, so you can take some corners and just have a really nice kind of sporty SUV. That is what the SQ part of this model is for, not just a basic Q5. So you get a little bit of sportiness to this model, and we can also put it into the paddle shifters. So with the manual setting, we can drop down to second gear, where you get some pops in that exhaust, which is nice. And we can give it a minor acceleration. Here we go. Not all that loud, but it definitely packs a punch. So a mild acceleration like that, we're already up to speed. And the paddles are very responsive. So if you're looking for a fun, sporty SUV, you need the practicality of an SUV, but you want some performance, this is a great option to go with. It takes these turns very well for a normal rate of speed, but the adaptive suspension is not only beneficial for that, it is going to make this for a very comfortable daily driver. Now, I own an SUV that has an adaptive suspension, and the benefits that I have found from that, I use mine for towing. So I'm not sure if this has auto leveling in the rear. I would assume it does based on having this suspension system, where you can put some weight on the back, you can put a trailer on this, and it's going to level the vehicle, so that way your vehicle can be more composed. You're not going to sag while towing. This isn't something that's meant for heavyweight towing, but it is a nice added benefit to have that, as well as some bumpy roads like this where it's just going to give you a nice comfortable ride and handle extremely well. And still in dynamic mode, second gear, here we go. And we are up to speed. Again, the paddles are super responsive, which is nice. One thing I did forget to mention, this also has a power steering wheel, so you can adjust that with the control on the side here, which is very nice to have. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the latest SQ5. I'm really digging the steering wheel design. I think the flat top gives it a great look. It's almost just underneath the gauge cluster screen in the back there, so it's just gives it a great look. You can easily see over it, and of course view your head-up display as well. But these seats are also very comfortable. We have some good bolster support on both sides to really hold you well, and this is a height adjustable seat. So at 5'10", currently I have maybe 2 inches or so of headroom, and this seat can be lowered if you are taller than me. So for this smaller interior, you could fit some tall people in it, which is a great benefit. But it's super quiet, rides very nice with the adaptive suspension, and you have a lot of nice features that you can get. Now, this is pretty much fully loaded, so you don't have to spec it quite as much, just depending on your budget and what you're looking to get. So you have several different ways and different options too that you can go with. But very nice interior with all these premium materials that you see. There's some plastic here, which would be nice to see some soft touch materials covering it. But aside from that, everything else has a really nice design and feel to it. Now, with this smaller size, this is going to be very easy to maneuver in parking lot situations, and especially turning around. We should be able to do this without having to back up. We may have to back up. Oh, we got enough room. So that and the parallel parking feature, it's going to make it very great for driving in city situations and things like that. And then you just have a really nice compact SUV that can do quite a lot if you're not looking for something larger than this. So that's going to wrap it up for the latest Audi SQ5. Once again, a huge shout out to Audi Northlake for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.